college football season has officially begun for Ohio State, with the Buckeyes getting a win in Bloomington, final score of 23-3 in a game that was kind of a bit confusing. I guess I'll start with the quarterback battle. I thought we would see a bit more of Devin Brown than we saw when he got in the second quarter. I was thinking, okay, here we go. But instead he got a drive where it was three straight run plays, and then we didn't see him again until the very end of the game, and I'll get into some of the specifics later, but the game started, and it looked like it was going to be what you'd expect, where the Ohio State defense, they're sturdy early on. The first Ohio State drive ending with a Mayan Williams touchdown run, and most of that drive was on the ground. I will say, though, the running game was a bit hot and cold. Indiana was able to get some penetration, especially on those runs up the middle. Number 44 for Indiana was having an insane game. McCord's first deep ball was a little bit too strong, although it wasn't like a horrible throw or anything, just a little bit out of the reach of Julian Fleming. The first quarter ended 7-0, with Indiana's offense not really looking like much of a threat to cut the deficit. And heading into the second quarter, Kyle McCord was actually showing more and more signs of life. Nothing too crazy, but he did show some ability to extend plays and hit throws that the defense was giving him. Indiana trying to keep everything underneath them and within reason. Then he threw an interception on a fourth down attempt. The first target on that play, his first read, was legally knocked down on the play, being a little bit close to the line of scrimmage. It was knocked down. Then he tried throwing it across his body, and that's one of the no-nos for quarterbacks, and ended up getting intercepted. So Indiana did get a bit of momentum from that turnover. They put together a decent drive, ending in a doinked-in field goal, very odd, and Indiana cutting the deficit to 7-3. Then came the Devin Brown drive, and I noticed he was wearing number 33, which is quite odd for a quarterback. I heard the broadcast mention maybe it's an homage to Sammy Baugh. Yeah, I don't care who it's an homage to, unless it's you're commemorating somebody. Please change that number. It looks ugly on a quarterback. But it was a 3-and-out on 3 runs, like I mentioned. A punt return made it to where the punter had to make the tackle, which was both the kicker and the punter are credited with a tackle in this game, where Lucas, number 12 for Indiana, put together some nice returns. So both punter and kicker having to make a tackle on special teams. At this point, the quarterback battle was kind of freaking me out a little bit after seeing Ryan Day put basically no weight on Devin Brown at this point. Kyle McCord still wasn't exactly clicking. He just thrown the interception. Jackson, the quarterback for Indiana, had another drive for him, and that would end after a failed fourth down conversion. Then Kyle McCord would come back in after Devin Brown's first drive. Marvin Harrison Jr. went down late in the half after landing strange on his arm. That had me worried for a little bit. Kyle McCord would almost fumble, but it was called incomplete. Marvin Harrison Jr. would be back on the field, which was a huge sigh of relief for me and I'm sure Buckeye fans everywhere. And Ohio State would have to settle for a 40-yard field goal attempt, and it was good. I know there was talk of a missed targeting call. I know they probably missed the targeting, but honestly, I don't care. You shouldn't be needing targeting calls to go your way against Indiana in order to make the score look better. You should just be able to score against Indiana almost at will without the officials' help. So the half ends, Ohio State's up 10-3. It was a vomit-inducing half to watch. It was just gross. Offensive line not really doing a good job of picking up inside pressure on runs, like I was mentioning. 44 Casey for Indiana had a really good half and continued to have a good half in the second half early. Ryan Day mentioning short yardage conversion issues. I mean, yeah, it was pretty obvious watching the game. Third quarter starts, Ohio State gets the ball first. Still Kyle McCord in the game. It was a 3-and-out on the first drive. The defense, thankfully, still solid. The secondary seems to be not terrible. I'm not quite sure how much I should gauge off of this performance against Indiana, because Indiana's offense looked mostly anemic. Injuries for Indiana was also starting to pile up, with number 12, who was their return man, making some good plays here and there. Number 22 on defense for Indiana also shaken up. The following drive for Ohio State was long and resulted in a chip shot field goal to make it 13-3, and McCord would find Cade Stover for his first dynamic play, at least I think for McCord anyway. He's had a couple nice plays, but that connection he had with Stover really was the first kind of eye-opening gain down the field. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a touchdown catch, but he went out of bounds before catching it, and then that drive would end with Mayan Williams with another touchdown run. However, most of the ground game was gained by Chip Trayanum on that drive. He had a really good game, contributing in as a blocker, as a fullback on that touchdown drive, and make it 20-3. I also do want to shout out G. Scott Jr. for his blocking efforts, not being just being a lead blocker, but a pull blocker for some of those runs. both Traynham and G. Scott Jr. were having a pretty good game as far as imposing their physicality onto Indiana. Then you move on to the fourth quarter, the game getting a little bit out of hand, in OHIO chant starting up in Indiana, and the Buckeyes would essentially ice a dead game with a fourth down stop on a 4th and 13. So I figured at that point, maybe we see Devin Brown come in. Still no, it's still Kyle McCord. Nice throw by McCord to Mayan Williams on a 4th and 9 conversion. That drive it in with another chip shot field goal to make it 23-3. The next time Ohio State got the ball, Devin Brown was back in for the last minute and 44 seconds. He got 3 straight passing attempts this time, although there wasn't really much going on for any of them. I believe it actually ended up with negative yards, but to be fair, Ryan Day did stick him in with the backup, so it's not like he had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Abuka and Fleming at his disposal. I saw some guy with the last name Adolph with a PH. I don't remember ever seeing him, so it's not like Devin Brown was given the keys of the Ferrari and told to do donuts. He was basically handed the hand-me-downs that the older brother got done driving first. The time would run out. 23-3 would be the final score. If Ryan Day has chosen Kyle McCord in this quarterback battle to be the starting quarterback moving forward, that's not necessarily something that I would be mad at. I thought Kyle McCord showed flashes of what he could bring to the offense. Again, he did have a touchdown pass to Marvin Harrison Jr. that was taken away, but with all of the smoke coming in about, Devin Brown's going to play and he'll get significant time, he didn't really get significant time. He got a drive in the second quarter, and then he was basically cleanup duty for the last 2 minutes. That's not significant time. That's just kind of they did kind of little brother control to him a little bit, where it shows that Ryan Day certainly seems to have more faith in Kyle McCord than Devin Brown at this point. And if there is that much of a disparity, I don't see why you don't just roll with Kyle McCord as the guy moving forward. I don't think it does either of these guys any service to do this weird wishy-washy, oh, we're going to play you for a 3 drives, but then Kyle McCord's going to get the majority of it. Like, if we're still doing this song and dance by Western Kentucky or, heaven forbid, Notre Dame, then I do think that's going to be a distraction the longer it goes on. But overall, again, a lot of it was meh. The defense was really solid, but I'm just wondering how much of that was just Indiana's offense not really working all that well. I mean, they tried doing like the option offense, and that just was having no luck against Ohio State's defense. But, Ohio State can only play against who they're playing against. So I guess props to them for shutting down Indiana's offense, however anemic it may be. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far into it, you can leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it and you'd like to see more like it. Let me know what you thought about this game down in the comments below, and I will see you at the next one.